Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo!
Hello there, and today I'm gonna teach you something interesting. And this is not a clickbait.
Hey, wait a minute, Rick. I thought this was a commercial. What's going on?
Relax, Morty. Don't worry about it. Let's just see where this goes.
So now that I have your attention, to all the 3 or 4 people that stayed, I will show you how to turn your Vtuber model from this to this using AI. Now I know many of you don't like AI, but I believe that this video might help you in some way or another. And for those who love AI or are obsessed with it, well, you're in for a treat, people. By the way, every software or every program I use in this video is free to use. The only constraint is that you might need a good PC with good specs. Here are my specs. If you have something similar to this or something better than this, you can basically run anything in this program and run it better than me. Oh, on another note, this is my first how-to video, so if I make any mistakes, please do consider them and let me know any suggestions to improve on them too. Oh, and if you are an AI genius yourself and you have any tips to improve my workflow, please let me know in the comments. I'm so down to learn new stuff about AI. And lastly, if you learned something from this video, I would appreciate if you could subscribe the channel or like it. Oh, and I stream on Twitch too, so if you could join me there, I will appreciate too. Okay, I'm talking for too long. Let's move on with the video. Bye. So, first of all, I'll show you how to install Kohya. Then, I'll show you how to prepare a data set of images which we will train on, and then I'll show you how to caption them correctly. Then, I'll show you how to train these images inside Kohya. And finally, I'll show you how to test this model inside Stable Diffusion. So let's start with installation of Kohya. You'll need to install a few dependencies before you begin its installation. As shown on the screen, you'll need to install Python 3.10 specifically, and make sure to add Python to the path variable. Then you'll need to install Git, and finally you'll need to install Visual Studio. I will also provide a link to this GitHub page so that you can do all of this on your own too. Next, you'll have to give unrestricted script access to PowerShell, and here's how you do it. Press the Start button, search for Windows PowerShell, open Windows PowerShell by running it as administrator. Once it opens up, copy this command and execute it inside PowerShell. And once you execute it, you go through the message and type in A. And once this message pops up, you're done. Now create a folder that you want to install Kohya into. I created a folder by the name of Kohya SS, but you can name it anything you want. After creating the folder, open the PowerShell again. It's the same way you opened last time. Now you have to go inside the folder that you want to install Kohya through the PowerShell, and to do that you type in cd and paste the path of the folder. Now you go back to the GitHub page, you copy this command and run it inside the PowerShell. I was gonna say that this code is contains multiple lines, so do you really want it to execute? You just paste anyway, and it will take a while, by the way. This process is not that quick. Okay, so when okay, so when you're at this position, it basically means you're done. Now press enter. Now they will ask you a bunch of questions. I don't really know what they mean, but the creator has provided pre-decided answers to it, so I'll just share those with you. For the first question, you answer this machine. For the second question, you answer no distributed training. For the third question, you answer no. Answer the same for the fourth and the fifth question. For the sixth question, answer all. And for the seventh question, answer FP166. At this point, you should be done with the installation. But if you have a RTX 30 or a 40 series graphics card, you can run another installation which I will provide the link to. I will not be running the installation as I have a RTX 20 series graphics card. Now let's move on to the next step, that is preparing a data set of images. For this, you can use any Vtuber model capturing software. It can be Vroid Studio, Blender, VCFace, or anything else. Here, I will show you which program I use and how I actually capture my images. Many of you might know this program. For those who don't know, this is Creatine and I use this for capturing images of the Vtuber model. So, on the right pane, you can see two icons. One is used for moving the Vtuber character and one is used for moving the camera angle. And with these two, you can create bunch of amazing images. On the left hand side, you get the option to change the background. Here, you can choose a range of different backgrounds from custom colors to images. If you really want to focus on the character, choose custom colors, and if you want the character to be in different types of backgrounds you like, you choose images. To capture the images, you go on to the left hand side and press the camera icon. Another interesting feature of Creatine is the motion and the expressions. On the left hand side, you can see the two icons from the top. You can see the program offers a bunch of stock poses and you just go through them. I would suggest you to avoid clippings like this as it could lead to issues while training the images, but you can go through them and find what works for you. At last, I will suggest to capture close-up images of your character with different expressions as it will really help in training the images. Now, these are the images I captured. There are 43 in total, but I will suggest you to go with 10 images for the beginning and increase the images with the future versions of your model. Once you have these images, rename them to what you want your model to be named as. For me, it's Essimor_V6 because this is the 6th version of my model. Don't ask why I've made this many of models. I am obsessed with this. Next step I personally like to do is to resize these images. I like to resize these images to a 512 by 512 resolution, but you can resize them to a 768 by 768 resolution to get higher quality training. But a larger resolution would lead to a longer training time. So I use a website called Brime or Byrim. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. So I'll provide a link to this site. It is a pretty self-explanatory process, but you just place in the images and resize them. And be sure to place the images in between the lines. Once you have adjusted the images, just save them as zip. Now let's move on to the next step, that is captioning of the images. There are a bunch of ways to caption images. You can do it via Stable Diffusion, you can use WD Tagger, or you can do it through Kohya SS too. I will show you how to do it through Kohya SS. For this, you will need to open Kohya SS. To do that, go to the folder you have installed it into and double click on GUI. The command prompt window will open up, and from there it will generate a link that you control and click onto to open it into the website, or you can just copy it and paste it on the URL. Once you open up, it should look something like this. Now go into utilities, and here you will see bunch of captioning options. For now, I'll show you blip captioning, but you can always try other captioning methods too. To do that, click on blip captioning, and in the image folder tab, choose the folder you have saved or extracted your images into. Now here is an optional task. If you want, you can add a prefix that is the name of your model, but you can also leave it empty. It doesn't really matter. I like to do it. It's not like you should do it, but if you want to do it, you can do it. And once that is done, just click on caption images. You can open the command prompt window to see the actual working of the process. Once you see a message like this, it should be done. Now, when you open the folder where you save those images, you can see text files generated next to it, and when you open these up, there will be a line describing the images as a whole. Now, here comes the most tedious part of captioning the images. For this, you can use Notepad, but I would suggest a software I saw another YouTuber use, that is Visual Studio Code. How you use it is really simple. You just open the folder that have the images as well as the captions. Drag the image in, then press the split screen button and drag the text file corresponding to it to the next site. So here's a good example of how I would caption an image. So what you need to do is to type everything that does not belong to the character. For example, my character is defined by his long fox ears, not cat ears, okay? They are not cat ears. So what I will do is not write cat ears. I would also describe what he's wearing so that if I need to change his clothing, I can easily do that. And I would also like to describe the background of the image, that is mountains, lakes, trees, and a grass field. So the final prompt looks something like this. Here's another example. I will just write in the things that don't really associate the character. I will write everything else that is not the character. But if you want a more general training of your character or train a style of your character, you can keep the tags as it is, as they would be enough to describe what is happening and what to change about the character or how to train the character. Now that we are done with the captioning of the images, we'll move on to training of the images. For that, you'll need to open Kohya SS again, then move to Dreamboot LoRa tab, and there you'll need to go to Tools tab. In this tab, you can make the folders required for the training and also define the repetitions the images will go through. Here, you will type the instance prompt, which will be the name of the folder, and the class prompt. Next, inside Training Images tab, place the folder containing the images as well as the text files. The repetitions box will define how many repetitions the images will go through. So I basically went with 41 repetitions, but you can go through more or less. I've heard many YouTubers say 100 repetitions is a good starting point. So that would mean if you have 10 images, each image would be trained 100 times. So in total there will be 1000 steps. But I have 41 images, that would mean I will have to go through 4100 steps. But I like to use something called epoch. So if I use 5 epochs, that would mean for 10 images with 100 steps, it will be multiplied by 5 again, which would be 5000 steps. As of now, I have a large data set of images, hence I would like to go with lower repetitions as it would take lower time to train the images. Here, if you want to place any replication images, you can place them here. Replication images are basically used as control images and help you in controlling, and they will help in increasing the accuracy of the model. I don't have any replication images set, so I will leave it blank. And lastly, you choose a folder as a training directory. Now, you click on Prepare Training Data. After that, you open the command prompt window and you'll see the following message. Once you see this, it means that your training data has been prepared. Then you press Copy Info to Folders tab, which will copy all the information here to the Folders tab, as you can see here. Next, you type in the name for your model. Now, move on to the Source Model tab. Inside the Source Model, you can choose any model you want to train the images on. Here, I would like to go with the Runway's 1.5 model, which is the base for most of the models. But you can go with any model you want. You can also go with anime related models such as Anything V3 or any else you have. These are the two checkboxes you select when you are using any model that is based off Stable Diffusion model 2.0 or above that. After selecting the model, go to Training Parameters tab. Here, under the LoRa type, you can see 4 different kinds of model. Each one has its own different use case. In this video, I'm going with Lycoris low-con model, but I will suggest you to go with standard model or LoRa low-con model. For trained batch size, to get higher quality training, keep it to 1, but if you want it to go faster and if your PC can handle it, you can choose up to 2 or more than that. For epoch value, I will suggest you to choose any value above 1. They help you decide whether the model is overtraining or undertraining. You can keep the other values basically the same. For seed, you can choose a random seed that is -1 or 1, 2, 3, 4. For allow scheduler, I will suggest you to choose a constant, and for warmer, you can keep it to 0. Now for network rank and network alpha, as well as convolution rank and convolution alpha, I will show you a table which will show values for different LoRa models, and you can use this as per your choice. Keep the max resolution same as that of images. Disable the keep buckets checkbox. Now select advanced configuration, and under that keep most of the settings same. If you are training on different models have different clip skip. Like the 1.5 model has been trained on clip skip 1, but if you are using anime models such as anything V3, it has been trained on clip skip 2. Now if you have a graphics card that is below 8 GB, you should definitely select these 3 options as well as that option. After this point, everything should be the same and you should be free to train the model, so press that thing. Now if you had the patience and if you had the time, you would reach to this point. Now what you do is congratulate yourself, give a pat on your back and clap for yourself. Yes, that's an important step. Clap for yourself. And then let's move on to the next step. Checking the model in Stable Diffusion. Open the folder inside which the training took place. Open the models, and under models you will find 4 different models. Copy them and follow these steps and place them inside the LoRa folders. After doing that, open Stable Diffusion. Now, if you have made a light chorus model, like in my case, you will have to install an extension inside Stable Diffusion to make them work. I will provide a link for the extension in the description below. To install the extension, go to the Extensions tab, then click from Install from URL, paste the link I have provided in the description inside the text box, and click on Install. Then move to the Install tab and check if the extension has been installed. After that, you click on Check for updates and click on Apply and Restart. Now let's look at the process to check the different models with the same tag with the help of grid. To do that, select any one of the models you have created. Now erase the 6 number figure, and instead of that, add any random variable you want. Similarly, erase the number after semicolon and write any other variable. I personally have chosen X and Y, but you can choose anything else. Then write the prompts that define your character. If you want any information on prompts and what prompts to use, let me know, I will tell you about that too. So here are the prompts I wrote. Now choose the sampling method and sampling steps you want. Now go to scripts and choose X and Y prompts. Here under X type, select prompt SNR and do the same for Y too. Now follow these following steps to get a X and Y grid. After writing this, click on generate. And in this way, you'll get a plot with different kinds of models and their strengths. As you can see, all of these images are really good, but the most focus comes down to the last quadrant. And you can see these images are not that overtrained. There is some mistake with the eyes, which can be easily solved with writing a negative prompt, that is blue eyes, and others are perfectly fine for me. And in this way, you can prepare a model for your Vtuber character and have fun testing different types of outfits, hairstyles, eyes colors, and many other things with your Vtuber character. Again, thank you for watching this video, and if you did learn something from this video, why not give it a like and give it a subscribe, because I will try and upload more AI related videos like this, because I'm really obsessed with it at this point. Yes, and again, bye bye.